Welcome back to the shop, friends. So in today's video, we're going to try to rebuild this Coleman Peak 1 white gas stove. Last time I fired it up, we had a big fireball come out of this thing, and it was, honestly, it was a little scary. So let's dig into it, let's see if we can repair it, and make it run like it should. So let's take a look at this thing before we tear it down. You can see this is a Coleman Peak 1 Model 400. It's a very similar design to the 508 in the fact that it has on and off valve right here, and then over here we have a flame control. And that's almost exactly the same as the 508. The burner is very similar to a 508. The pump cup, everything really similar, except we have 3 little feet on the bottom, which is pretty cool. I like that for stability. Other than that, it's just a really tiny model. Like, I think this was designed for backpacking or carrying it around a little easier. The 508s are quite a bit bigger compared to this thing. This thing is little itty bitty, which is really cool. That's why I want to get it running well. So let's start tearing it down and figuring out what's going on. I think the first thing we should do is probably drain all this fuel out, at least as much as we can. I'm actually going to use this. This is my oil pan that I use when I work on cars. I really like this thing. It's USA made. It's really awesome. And I think, honestly, we kind of just need to do some cleaning on this thing because it's got soot everywhere. I'm just going to use a little bit of the white gas here. I actually want to take this off and see if I can clean that. So we're going to put a little bit of a PB blaster in there and let that soak while we're working on it. The other thing we're going to use is distilled vinegar. It's very gentle and helps clean things. So I think as I take all the pieces apart, I'm just going to throw them in there so that they get cleaned up. There we go. Now, what's the chances this actually comes out easily? We are in luck, my friends. That could have been far worse. And that definitely needs some cleaning. So I'm gonna throw that in there. All right, so this piece, these are important, this burner ring. It's important to keep these in the order they are. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can separate that top plate perfect. And then these guys, we're just gonna throw some wire around them. Oh, I would have helped if I would have chose some smaller wire though. That's good enough, I guess. If I had smaller wire, I'd make that neater, but it just has to stop it from falling apart. Okay, what's next? Okay, burner ring thing. That can go in there too. Should hit that with some PB. Look at that. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we'll be able to clean all of that up. I think this part is actually fine. I don't want to tear into this piece too much, only because there's packing and stuff in there, and I think it operates pretty well, so we're going to leave that part alone. But the part we are going to tear apart is this pump cup. These are pretty simple. You just grab a needle nose, get it under here, and you just bend that little arm out, just like so. Pops away. We're going to take a look at the pump cup. Oh, that is a rubber pump cup, if you can see it. we're gonna replace that. I have some really nice leather ones. We'll put a leather one in there. That'll make this setup way nicer. And the reason we're taking all this apart is I want to clean all that stuff, but in here is the check valve. Maybe you can see down in there a little bit, and that's what we need to get out. Now, there's a few ways to get these out, but I bought this tool to do this, and it's good for me because I have quite a lot of stoves, so for me, buying these tools was a good thing. I know you can use screwdrivers and stuff, I just don't want to destroy it, so I figured might as well buy the tool since I have a few of these stoves. You can get these on eBay. I'll shoot a link if you guys are interested in it, or just throw a link in the description below. But essentially what this does is it grabs on, oh, that's pretty nice. I've not opened this before, I've never used one. But essentially what I think you do is you screw this piece in there, and it grabs onto that check valve. And let's see, what size is this going to be? Is it going to be this size right here? Yeah, that's it. So it's going to, let me see, how does this work? So you put this in here, and that locks in there, and I think you screw this down. Alright, now let's see if we can back that out. What size do you think this is? Not 11/16, that's for sure. 5/8, or did they make it metric? Very snug fitting 5/8, perfect. Alright, here we go. Let's make sure, let's see what happens. Oh. Alright, we're gonna back this off. We're gonna throw some PB Blaster in there. Oh, there we go. Hopefully that didn't break it. Oh, nice. Set that aside. This is the piece we were after. So this is the check valve. So this does exactly what you think it does. It's literally a metal ball in there, and it just jiggles around. Can you hear that? And so what happens is as you push air in, focus. So what happens with this, as you push air in, the check ball unseats, and then it seats back this way so the pressure can't come back out. It's supposed to seat though so that you don't have fuel or anything coming back, so we definitely have a leak in there. So one thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna try to clean it, and we're gonna do that by putting a little bit of PB Blaster in there. I know PB Blaster isn't cleaning, but we're just trying different things. So the other thing we're gonna do now is gonna use a little carb cleaner. We're just gonna spray this out. They can already see where our leak is going to be. Yeah, let's clean this up and I'll show you. There, that might be a bit easier for you to see. So, when it comes to this part, here's what I think what happened, because I saw a few pieces of stuff come out. It looks to me like there's an O-ring that's supposed to be there, and it's not. So it may have gotten old and just dried out and cracked. Very, very possible. There's definitely a groove there. And this does slip down inside there and seat. So, luckily, these O-rings, you should be able to pick up at your local hardware store. I had to go to True Value to get it. Home Depot did not have this. They come in packs of 2, and I think what we can do is we just slip it right on there. Now, there was a millimeter measurement for these. I think it was 10 by 7, 10 on the OD, 10 millimeter on the OD and 7 on the ID. And I did the math, and that comes out to 3/8 on the OD and 1/4 on the ID, or very close to. So I think what we can do is just put that in here. Maybe it actually seats underneath it, underneath the threads. Question is, does it go here or does it right up here? Let's figure that out. If you ever need to do this stuff, a really good resource is Old Town Coleman. They have lots of information, really good write-ups on the stuff, and in here you can see they actually show pictures and they explain everything in great detail. It's really awesome. And according to what I'm reading here, the O-ring goes right about where we have it. So we're just going to leave that there. All right, let's tear this apart. Oh, there we go. That came off pretty easy. Okay, so here's what you really want. These guys, these are the leather pump cups, and these ones last forever. I've had really old stoves that these leather cups still work. As long as you keep oil in them, or even if they're old and dried out, as long as you add oil to them, as long as they're not torn, you can usually bring them back. So I don't know that we need this plastic shim on this one. Let me see here. No, we don't. So we're just not going to use this plastic shim. And we're going to put this guy like this. Perfect. Yeah, that should do the trick. Now, one thing I like to do, so I soak these before I put them back together. I like to use mortar oil, just whatever I have on hand. I think it works a little bit better. Someone called me out in the comments before saying that what would be the difference between canola and mortar oil. You cook with canola, so it should be able to handle the heat. That's true, but in my opinion, actually not just my opinion, in my use, the problem with canola is it burns off after a while, after a short period of time. It's not designed to handle multiple heat cycles. So in my opinion, the mortar oil actually holds up a bit better. I think Coleman, back in some old literature that I found, recommends using like machinist oil. So mortar oil is close enough to that for me. Keep these little pieces because you never know. All right, we'll put that off to the side. Keep those all together. And then now what I think we have to do is just start cleaning things. Lots of cleaning, I think, is what we're gonna do. For that, we're gonna bring out my trusty oil pan again. You can see the white vinegar has already started working on these things. It's good stuff. It's nice and gentle too, which is what I like. That's looking nice. And here's a closer look at this tool. It's really nice. It's ground really well, built nice. It's a solid chunk of steel here. And then even they give you two of these pieces to screw into the actual check valve. Here's the other one. So this is how it works. When you actually go to put it in, you can see that the check valve has the slot, and then this guy is just going to screw on in there into the center of that, and that holds it. That screw holds this check valve tightly against this tool, and this tool grips that slotted section very, very nicely. That's pretty neat. This is really awesome. Probably should put this in the right area when we go to reinstall it, huh? Now that we have the whole thing back together, we're gonna do a dry run. So we're gonna undo this, we're gonna pump it up, and then I'm gonna let it sit, and I'm gonna spray some dish soap with water all over it and see if we get any leaks coming out of anywhere. And that will tell me if we need to address something. All right. I don't see any air coming out of there. If we did, it'd be bubbling. Wipe this whole thing down. I'll get some fuel in it and we'll give it a shot and see. These Coleman stoves, once you kind of rebuild them and clean them, they have such a beautiful burn. It's It's something else. I don't know what it is. It's mesmerizing. I'm gonna try my best to do this. I always spill fuel when I'm doing this, but we'll see how well I can do. I'm just gonna put a little in, and this does not take very much. Not very much at all. Okay, here we go. It's coming. It's trying. Oh, that's looking nice. It's getting with it. It's definitely clearing itself out. You can see all the junk coming out of it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we got it. Look at that. It is burning nice. There's a few little speckles in there, so I need to do a really thorough tear down and soak it for a few days and get all this nice and clean, but we know it burns really well. We know it works. The low flame adjustment works, and it comes back without any flame. So I think it just took a moment to get hot. I think it took a moment to burn everything out. I think what I had is I had a lot of vinegar stuffed in that bowl, and I couldn't quite get down in there and clean it out, so that when we were running fuel through here, I think it was building up there instead of burning, and then that's what basically was flooding out, I think, what was going on. So it doesn't appear to be doing that, and I've stopped it and started it quite a few times. It doesn't seem to be doing that anymore, which is nice. Also, one interesting thing on the lighting instructions right here, it's really kind of different than your other Coleman stoves, because it says as soon as the burner lights, open the pump 1 full turn and then start pumping for 1 full minute straight. 60 pumps is what it wants you to pump. That's a lot of pumps. Normally what you do on a Coleman is you pump it 20-25 times, you light it, then you pump it about another 20 times and you let it go. But 60 is a lot of pressure out of this little thing. So that might be the other problem I had, is just not enough pressure to start with that I didn't know. I should have read the instructions, which are right here. But yeah, this thing is super cool. So if you guys want to see more content like this, let me know. I actually have a really cool Coleman item in my possession that a friend wants me to restore, and I think I'll restore it and show you guys, but it's really cool. I can't believe I came across one, or I can't believe he has one, because that is one of the coolest things. So with that, guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.